I heard you might have needed to cancel on us to get
I always consider myself is really all about.
Yes, this Democrat operative exposes everything you need to know. We were wondering during that campaign, like what exactly was going on. I didn't know that this actually happened. It is important. We take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly. He sat down with Joe Rogan, I think just a day before, you know,
At this point, I am convinced if Donald Trump gave every American household $1 million, you guys will find a reason to hate him. The way the left wing media and the propaganda and the way that they have brainwashed everyday American citizen needs to be studied at this point. The lies that are being told day after day, ever since this man has taken office, is just so ridiculous. And the information can be researched and can be debunked in literally seconds. The latest lie that he cut individual Medicaid and Social Security, food stamps, and Section 8 for people is simply not true. But yet you guys still run with it and speak on it and make videos and think pieces, all because you have been trained and brainwashed to hate this man. That is some sick stuff. These leaders, this left wing media, this propaganda, they really, really know that you guys are bots, NPCs, non playable characters. You don't have the capacity to think for yourselves. What Trump law he does need to end is the No Child Left Behind law, because this is the effect of just passing kids along through the school system and they don't even know how to think or have any of the minuteness critical thinking skills. I am embarrassed and ashamed for you guys. The entire time these leaders got y'all intoxicated. I can't even call them leaders. They're not my leaders, but they're your leaders. They have you intoxicated on racism and lies. And the whole time, you are the patsy. You are the person that's being played. And the saddest part about it, you don't even know it. Shame on y'all.
yes, Joe Rogan Trump episode was a traumatic event for Kamala Harris. And new book, except reviews how VP proposed interview fell apart. I knew that this was happening, though Democrats struggled to cope with this at a certain point. When you go down on this, and except from a new book about the 2024 presidential election shed new light on how former Vice President Kamala Harris' proposed interview with podcast Jan Joe Rogan fell apart, fight inside the wildest battle for the White House from authors Jonathan. Mm, when you take a look at this interview, this man had, this is a Democrat operative. He sat down with Joe Rogan, exposes a lot of things that we actually even knew. Liberals claim like this interview had nothing to do with Kamala Harris. They don't care. When I look at that, at a certain point, they neglected everything. Look at how a lot of people turned up after the Trump interview. I think Joe Rogan has not had a segment like that on YouTube. It is important we take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that. It will do you no harm if you share out this clip.
Again? Yes, she wants to. You think she could win? I believe she can. I mean, if I didn't believe Kamala Harris could win, I wouldn't have worked as hard as I did to help her win this last time around. Donald Trump, and when you look at politics, Donald Trump and Barack Obama are just enigmas in politics. I think they do something different to the electorate every time they run that you can't counter. But then when they are not on the ballots, it's almost like you go back to the political gravity pulls people right back into it. That's part of how we won with how well we did.
Yes, Kamala Harris is silent, but what I see is the Democrat operative still going out advocating for her. If I look through all interviews, you will see similar things like this happening. And what I see that keep coming up is this interview with Joe Rogan. These people believe that if she had that interview with Joe Rogan, maybe things could change. I don't know if they actually saw what was happening during that campaign because I was following to see exactly what was going on. There was no way Kamala could win. They kept Kamala Harris in a room for a very long time. While they are doing campaign, Trump was there at, from one podcast to another. She was nowhere to be found. When the election was approaching, few days to the election, she waked up and started going to podcasts. Oh, now on TV, started taking to questions. That was a very wrong strategy these people put forth. They didn't realize that until after the elections. I believe they have learned their lessons. When I watched the DNC today freaking out after they elected their new leader, it was just insane.
I was thinking about going on Joe Rogan's show, and a lot of the younger progressive staffers pitched a hissy fit. Supposedly the campaign said that that wasn't the term of fact, but they did. When you put a campaign together and you hire young people to do work, let me tell you exactly what you tell these people, what I would tell them. Not only am I not interested in your opinion, I'm not even going to call you by your name. You're 23 years old. I don't really give a what you think. Campaigns are authoritarian by their nature. And if I were running a 2028 campaign and I had some little snot-nosed 23-year-old saying, I'm going to resign if you don't do this, not only would I fire that on the spot, I would find out who hired them and fire that person on the spot.
We ran a flawless campaign except for not having the candidate go on the number one interview possibility.
Except for not outperforming.
Except for
our
spending
last cycle,
$4 billion and getting our clocks cleaned. I mean, at that point, it's like, why do you have operatives at all?
What's the point? I don't get it.
If you're going to lose big.
Yes, this new book, this person published, actually exposes a lot of things. What actually happened during that period. And when I look at what the media was saying that day, Kamala is abusing, Kamala is doing this. Joe Rogan was not interested to talk about a lot of issues. He had just three things: abortion, the border, and how she is going to govern. That was just all, according to the new book. So people freaking out about this is crazy. Joe Rogan had to change his mind, and nothing happened. Though Libra struggled at that time to cancel him, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I get it. They asked them a question today, and they asked them a question about the crash. They said, will you visit the crash site? Now, every other politician would go, of course, it was a tragedy. And he went, it's the water. What do you want me to do, swim there? And I was like, exactly, right. You're exactly right. It's a stupid question. And you got just the answer you deserve.
If you notice, I actually put short clips at the end of my videos. That is for the algorithm. You can end here. God bless you. And please, don't always forget to share the video.
It's essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10 to her.
No. The EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And because, final point for me, a year and a half is because...
This is the United States.
You're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit.
This lady is not unstopped.
Where awful things have happened. So over.
And sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag
are funky in policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning, and I flew here last night. I was on a plane, getting texts.
So I am evacuating my home.
What we need to do against what we know is right, and these are the results.
Trump is now calling that Gavin Newsom should step down.
This is you getting water to areas that need water because there are fires in 100-mile-an-hour winds.
The situation is beyond control.
For the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. What do we do?
Right now you're looking history, remember it.
As a country about January.
Yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, it's sad.
I want to be,
Jim Jordan.
In the 5 tenants of
Palisades Village right here. This is the town center of sorts.
And he did this little dance.
Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii. Had some.
And then we watch the news or talk to my friends.
Now, look, I have a lot of fear that as
I'm not going to dignify his remarks.
So now, in the wake of a national tragedy like Wednesday's fatal plane.
Senator Kelly.